Thank you. We have a number of advocates here and experts in law and family court. First up is the president of the New York State Bar Association, Richard Lewis. Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for having us here. This is a critical issue. And just to echo a little bit about what you've all said, we not only need representation, but we need expeditious representation. When you have to wait 3 months, 4 months, 6 months or more to have your case heard, it rips apart families, and it's irreparable. It does irreparable harm to the children, it does irreparable harm to the parents, and frankly, it does irreparable harm to the system. Our family court was created in 1961 by a constitutional amendment, replacing its predecessors, the children's courts, the domestic relations, and the domestic relations court, and it's evolved over the years in response to the shifting societal norms. We expect an enormous amount from our family courts. It is the overseer of so many different complex issues relating to paternity, custody, support, abuse, foster care, and delinquency matters, and much more. Basically, everything related to our families and everything related to our children. It is chronically overburdened and under-resourced, a problem that was significantly exacerbated during the COVID period. During that time, cases were curtailed, they were delayed, and they created a crushing backlog that negatively impacted thousands of families and thousands of children. And as I said, that type of impact is a permanent impact on our society. The family court system disproportionately serves underrepresented and unrepresented litigants, low-income individuals, and people of color. Providing adequate resources to family court is paramount, and we are serious about if we are serious about advancing equity and racial and economic justice in our system. The New York State Bar Association has as its core mission a commitment to protecting and improving access to justice. This is the cover child of access to justice. We have consistently fought for additional resources that would ensure representation for those who cannot afford to retain counsel themselves. As the president of this New York State Bar Association, I wholeheartedly join the call for the Senate to include more funding for family court representation in this year's budget. I'm particularly concerned about the need for increased funding to bring 18B attorney compensation in line with the federal standards. It is paramount that sufficient resources be allocated to ensure the dire need for assigned counsel across the state, and we can do that. I have to again thank Senator Hoylman-Sigal and, of course, Assemblyman Levine for their constant and consistent advocacy on behalf of the state's legal system and for the vulnerable individuals across the state. New Yorkers need and deserve a family court system that is effective and efficient, and it's a system that needs to meet the legal and emotional and social needs of our society. This is a big challenge, but it's one we must collectively undertake. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So in our rural, I can't give you specific numbers, but I can tell you that I'm from upstate New York. And I can tell you that I know of one rural county that has 2 18B lawyers. 2. 18B is assigned counsel. That's in Shenango County. And the rural areas of not just New York, but the rural areas throughout this country are known as the legal desert. We have problems getting lawyers to represent people, not because they don't want to, but because they can't afford to. The costs of practicing law are significant. And so for somebody to get involved in a case, which as has been said, starts on one day and then resumes a month later is a very difficult situation for a lawyer to find him or herself. So the legal desert needs attention. They're the people in these rural areas are probably the most underrepresented people. Statistics show they're the most underrepresented people in the country. So I guess what I would tell you is that prior to the pandemic, we were in trouble. Since the pandemic, we are in crisis.